What's up guys, Alex with Mobile Bike Repair back here doing another unboxing video of the GOAT Power Bikes Power Goat V3. Let's get this thing all unboxed. So now that we got the bike out of the box, we just want to make sure we're going to get off all of the packaging and everything, and just make sure that you're careful when cutting off all the zip ties and packaging, that we're not scratching the bike with the scissors or the blade that you're using. All right, now that we've got all the packaging off the bike and we got everything taken apart, we got our fender off and the handlebars are now hanging free, we first are going to put the handlebars on just to make everything neater, just so there's not cables and electronics just hanging around. For that, we're going to take out our toolkit, take out our set of Allen keys, and we are going to use the number 6 Allen key to undo the stem. All right, now that we got our stem taken off and taken apart, we just want to make sure that when you put the handlebars on, a common mistake is people will put the handlebars on with the cables behind the bars. We want to make sure we flip it around and make sure that all the cables are in front of the handlebars in the front of the bike. So put this on here. Thread them all by hand first to ensure we don't cross thread anything. And then the next important step is to just make sure that we tighten these all down evenly. All right, next we'll install the pedals that we will find in our black tool bag. So we'll take the pedals and our number 15 wrench. And we just want to make sure that we line the pedals up on the right side of the crank, because they are specific and they do need to go on a specific side. So just like always, just try to thread by hand first. All right, that one seems to have worked. Yes, it's very important that you make sure you don't force the pedals onto the crank, otherwise you will cross thread the crank and you will need to replace the crank, otherwise the pedals will not stay. All right, next up we're going to be doing the light. And for the light, we already have the brackets installed. They come installed on the bike, and we just need a number 5 Allen key from our toolkit right here. And then all we're going to do is we're going to take these off. We're going to bring it over to the brackets, put it on in front of the wiring harness, line up the hole with the threads, and like always, just tighten it by hand first. And we will do that on both sides. All right, and that's how we got the light on. All right, next we are going to install the turn signals, and all we will need for that is our number 15 wrench again. So to get these ready, you want to unscrew the nut, and they are specific to the side, so you just want to make sure there is a little sensor or light down here that will be facing down so it can reflect off the ground. So we will just put the light through the cable through here, there like that, feed our nut back through, and then tighten it by hand first. And once we have it tightened by hand, we can take our wrench and tighten it down more. All right, now we'll do the same on the other side. All right, now that we have our headlight and turn signals on, you will see we now have our connectors. So the connectors are just already lined up right down here for you. So you'll just match the colors to the colors. So we'll put orange and orange, and there are arrows indicating the right way to plug them in. Orange to orange, green to green, and then orange to orange again for each turn signal. All right, now for the final part of the handlebar setup, we have our rear view mirrors that we'll be installing. First, let's take our brackets and get those installed on the bike. What we will need for that is our number 8 wrench. So let's just take this apart, just attached to an open space on the handlebars. And of course, like always, just thread it by hand. All right, now that we got the brackets installed, we're going to install the rear view mirrors. So let's cut these out of the box. Inside of here, we will have all the hardware we need, the nuts and bolts and the lock washers. All right, now when we're getting these prepared, we are going to take our bolt and our washer, put the washer on first, and then we can mount the mirror to the bike. Bolt, put the washer on, and then we can attach it. And then to tighten them all up, we will use our number 6 Allen key. All right, now to install the fender, we will only need 2 tools, and that's the number 4 Allen key and our number 10 wrench, or 10 mil wrench. We will remove the mounting bolts. And then for this top bolt, we will need our number 5 and our 10 mil. Now that we got that all taken apart, we can take our fender, slide it through here, put the bolt through, washer, and then nuts. Tighten that down a little bit. All right, and then we'll take our other 2 mounting bolts and attach it to the fork. All right, and now we've got the fender installed. All right, now to get the wheel prepped to get on the bike, we will take our through axle, and as you can see, there are 2 different size spacers on the through axle. So we have this bigger spacer right here, and then we have a smaller spacer. The big spacer is going to go on the left or the non-braking side of the bike, because there needs to be an even space for the braking. So it will go like this. So what we'll do is we'll just take apart one side. Keep in mind how these are coming off. So we have a regular washer, then we have our washer that we will hook onto the fork, and then we have our spacer. So we'll take those off. Take our wheel, get it set up. See that we needed the big spacer on the non-braking side, so we'll put it through this way. Get those through, and then it goes spacer, the hook washer, and then just the regular washer. And then we can just put this back on, tighten it just a few turns. Now that we got our through axle all set up with the spaces on the right side, our next step is getting the wheel onto the bike. Now, what's recommended is if you can get someone to help you out lifting up the front of the bike so we can line up the wheel and just slide it in. If you don't have anyone to help you out, I recommend just gently flipping the bike upside down, and then you're able to plop the wheel right into position. All right, so now we're going to lift up the front of the bike. Undo these just a little bit. There we go, so it comes off. We want to line, and then we're going to take out this out of the brake. That's just to prevent the pads or the pistons from coming out if you accidentally hit the brakes. So we want our hook washers to be on the outside of the fork. Might be easier just to take off the hardware. All right, now you can lower it down a little bit until it gets into place. There we go. Now that's into place, On each side, we will take our hook washer, put it down, regular washer, and then our nut. And then we will do that for both sides. Make sure you tighten them both sides, make sure they're nice and snug, because we don't want the wheel falling off. All right, and that's how we get the front wheel on. One thing that we noticed when getting this bike all assembled and ready is now we can see sometimes in shipping things can get moved around and pushed out of place. So we can see that the handlebars are not exactly straight with the wheel. So instead of trying to put your legs here and force it, it's a pretty simple fix. We're gonna come over here to our stem. There's a bolt on each side, so we're just gonna loosen it. No need to loosen it all the way, just loosen it so it's not snug. Do that on both sides. And then we can come to the front, get the wheel straight, and then now you can see that we can swivel this back and forth. Get it until you think it's straight. Come back to the front, look. See that now it's looks straight. And then we just come back and we tighten up those same bolts that we just loosened. Awesome, now the handlebars are straight. Give it a little test, hold the brakes and twist it around, make sure they don't move around. But that's how we do it. All right, now we'll do a peg install. Just like last time, we wanna make sure the pegs slip up and not down. So we'll just make sure you put them on the right side. So here we go, we just put it right through this peg hole. Tighten that down. All right, perfect. No need for the wrench on that one. All right, there we go. And now we got the pegs installed. They flip up. So we are all set. Now for the final step, we will install the battery. We have the keys attached. The keys will just be taped somewhere on the battery out of the packaging. So what we'll do is just slide this on. Don't force anything, but just slide it on and push it down. Lock it into place. And then we can take our key that was attached up here to the handlebars, turn the bike on, and get the bike all turned on. Cool. And then now we can check to make sure we have our blinkers turned, our blinkers plugged into the right one. So right now our hazards are on, so we know that works. So left. Oh yeah, so see, I noticed that when I turn the left blinker on, the right one turns on, and then vice versa. So pretty easy fix. All we're gonna do is come down here and unplug our orange plugs and just switch them. Make sure you line them up with the arrows. And then, yep, now left goes left and right goes right. Sweet. All right, now that we got the bike all assembled, before you take it for a ride, make sure that the tires are inflated because they can lose some pressure when being shipped across the country. But yeah, I recommend usually around 25 PSI. That's a pretty standard PSI to run for these size tires. So the main difference between the Billy Goat that we assembled last week and the Power Goat this bike is they both have very good off-road capabilities, pretty much the same. They both have suspension in the front and back, which is great. Makes for a really smooth ride off-road. Just the main difference is that this bike was made to seat 2 people comfortably, and it also is good for wheelies. If you or your kids like to do the wheelies, this is the bike to do it because you can get back and it's way easier. But other than that, yeah, this bike is best seated for 2 people, and other than that, the bikes are very similar. All right, that sums up the unboxing and assembly of the Power Goat. If you guys have any questions or concerns, feel free to leave a comment down below and we'll get right to that.